sometimes when bad things just follow a place and there's just no way around it. For example, Montague, Michigan. An old man had 3 wives on an 800-acre lot, and he died in the late 1940s. Put on my face bug. Late 1940s, and he left them with nothing. After that, the land got turned over, got foreclosed on, and was sold to a chemical company called Hooker Chemicals. May sound familiar, Hooker Chemicals. Does that sound like the chemical company that was responsible for the Love Canal disaster? Yes. And around the same time, actually, which is interesting how it avoided the mainstream media for the most part, they had yet another disaster. It was known as the White Lake disaster. Hooker Chemical put up an 800-acre facility for the production of hexocyclophenidine, other C-series compounds, and other things that are made from the chloralkali process. The site was picked because of a local salt vein, which one can very easily extract salt from, even more readily than even like salt water. It was pretty interesting. It was a really good plant, very high tech for its day. The problem was, a whistleblower came forward and said that instead of, when you're done with the reaction, the excess hydrochloric acid that has a bunch of C-series compounds, including hexachlorocyclophenidine mixed in, is reprocessed, they decided just to take an 8-inch steel main and dump it into White Lake. That's right. At an alarming rate of 125,000 gallons a day. Wow. I mean, if you think about it, just changing the pH of the water is bad. You put in a deadly chemical with a hazmat 4 into a lake, you got problems. Fish were dying, people were getting sick, all sorts of stuff. So, what did they have to do? The state of Michigan basically told Hooker Chemical to either clean this place up or get out of Michigan. I don't care, we don't care. So, they completely drained the lake, dredged the lake, dumped all of the dredged contents into a vault on the property, which many call it the Temple of Doom. 800 by 800, and I've heard stories by anywhere from 100 to 1,000 feet deep. 1,000 sounds more feasible, but considering how much they probably had to dump there. A lot of it was waste from the production of hexachlorocyclophenidine, and a lot of it was just soil. Most of it was actually just soil, from what I understand. So this still sits there in a lined pit, huge lined pit, from what I understand, probably the largest toxic waste dump ever built anywhere, okay? It's still monitored by the company that bought out Hooker Chemical, which is known as Occidental Petroleum, and many concerns still arise. Will this turn into another Love Canal? Well, okay. First off, no, because the Love Canal was actually just like the liquid chemicals, mercury brine, all sorts of stuff that were actively put into drums that rusted out, and the water table ended up getting to it and it flooded. Did the bathtub effect, flooded the whole area. Number 2, people, you don't have neighbors with like built right around the toxic waste dump. This place is separate, okay? Number 3, you had a big plume of toxic sludge, but it's been weeded out by, as a matter of fact, it was declassified off the EPA cleanup list. And they were running 2 carbon filtration pumps, one on one side, one on the other, at a rate of about 700 gallons a minute. But let's just say this. Be careful of those smokestacks in the distance. It very well just might not be a chocolate factory.